We're going to have
We are
fun.
live. We're going to have so much fun on this live stream, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Aggie K, Wealth Therapist, and I have Sade Adu, the brand strategist, the digital brand strategist behind Sade Adu, and tons of other brands that you probably have seen and don't know that she's behind it all, and also the creator of the BeCon event this summer. So if you're watching, this is about the mindset behind marketing and where those two worlds converge. And if you have questions, pop them in. If you're watching, let us know. What is it, lunchtime? Where are you people? But we're going to get lunchtime somewhere. So we're going to get started. Sade, please introduce yourself to the people who are living under a rock and don't know you.
Hey to all the beautiful people out there in the world. My name is Sade Adu, and I am a digital brand strategist. I'm a speaker. I am an author and a full-time doctoral candidate. Finally.
Ooh, almost done. Almost can call you doctor.
Done. Almost finished. And my goal is to help entrepreneurs like yourself build profitable and powerful brands online. Whether you want to be a full-time doctoral student, a full-time mom, or you want to sit on the beach sipping mocktails and still growing your business. So I really believe in creating businesses that allow you to do the things that you desire and you love in life. And our goal is to get you in front of the right people who want exactly what you have to offer right now.
Oh my gosh, that sounds great. Like, let's all sign up for that. You make it sound so easy. So let's start talking about some of this stuff, because what I notice in my clients is, and in the online industry in general, is there's a lot of talk of saturation and like, wait, how do you deal with this? You know, I know how we deal with it from a mindset perspective. What's your take on saturation on Facebook, for example? Coaches. I feel like I'm assaulted by coaches every day. Coaches.
Everyone's a brand
coach.
When I first transitioned into brand strategy, I was a life coach, and I transitioned into brand strategy because everyone kept asking me how to build brands. And I said, why do you want to keep coming to me? And then I said, okay, I'll do it. And when I did that, everyone was saying branding. That was the popular buzzword at the time. Yeah. And it made me feel extremely self-conscious and nervous to put myself out there. And then I had to look at my bank account and say, okay, if I don't do something about this, it's going to be what I don't want it to be. So out of pure necessity, because I like lights, I like Wi-Fi, I needed to make money in my business. So out of pure necessity, I had to shift. So when I talk to people, I think about, whenever I talk to entrepreneurs, small business owners about branding, I'm always in the mindset of what would those billion-dollar brands, the Coca-Colas of the world, the Apples, what are they thinking about when it comes to marketplace saturation, the McDonald's of the world? And what I do is I say, let's take a piece out of their million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar brands and brains and figure out exactly what they would do. So when I go down the street and I'm going to a food court at a mall, I might see a Burger King, I might see a McDonald's, I'll see an Asian selection. They're all food options. They're technically all competing against each other. But guess what? They don't stop selling food or burgers or chicken because another place is selling burgers, food, and chicken too. They still sell it because they understand that people's taste and preferences are different. You still want to be an option. There are people who are specifically looking for what you have from you. This is why they told me you need to do branding, because we need it from you. You understand it. My background's in education. I don't have an MBA. I thought you had to have a business degree to be in business. Boy, was I wrong, and I'm glad I was. That's what people appreciated from me. I used to teach high school and middle school, so I learned how to break down complex topics and make it easier for people to understand. So that's a special gift that I bring to business, marketing, and branding. I can break complex ideas down. And with my PhD background, I can analyze those billion-dollar brands and look at the research that they do and synthesize it and make it easy for people to understand.
So what are they doing? So if we are going to take, and I love how this parallels mindset, because I would tell my clients, well, when they're asking me about saturation, for example, from a mindset perspective, I would say, well, what would the you who already has everything they want think about this or do about this?
Think and do. So looking at an example that was recent, maybe a month ago, less than a month ago, Wendy's. Wendy's sells burgers. Wendy's decided to disrupt the marketplace and come out with a rap mixtape. It's about 5 minutes long. And they have a rapper saying that, there's no beef, don't beef with me and your chicken. And Wendy's has a rap album. That's a way to disrupt the marketplace, to get people talking about your brand. A lot of these brands are taking to social media and to Twitter, and they are being very comical. They have their Twitter platforms have a lot of their social media platforms are run by a lot of millennials, and they have a lot of personality. So they're
can individuals do this? Can individual businesses disrupt the marketplace?
Absolutely. You don't expect a burger place to come out with a rap album. So what is something that you can be slightly disruptive? There's so many people, especially through the power of live video, live streaming. It's time to get creative.
Mm-hmm.
While everyone else is thinking one way, think a different way. Look at the same idea, issue, and tackle it in a specific way. So there's also ways to differentiate yourself. You can differentiate yourself via niching down. So recently, a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to someone, and she helps people over 50 get venture capital money to start their business, get investors in their business. And she specifically focuses on people over 50. So what kind of brands is she working with? So now she's doing stuff with AARP, because they are specifically looking to support that demographic. So there might be other people that can help you get startup capital, startup funding, but she decided to stand out in the marketplace and be very specific and niche down. So there could be a specific subset of people. There could be a demographic. There could be an age range. There could be a group. There could be a subset in a demographic of maybe you're working with single moms with 3 children, couples, married people in a specific location or region. You want to become that go-to expert in Tucson, Arizona, where everyone knows if they need this particular thing to happen, they go to you. So niching down and becoming known in world class for one particular thing really helps you disrupt the marketplace, and it helps you expand. People think that it constricts you and narrows you down, but in actuality, when someone has a problem and you are that person that people can tag in a post and say, you live here and you have this particular problem, I need to contact this person. I'll give you a great example. If someone says, I'm looking for a plumber in Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. If they know someone who fits that criteria, they're going to make a recommendation for that particular person. That is how specific you need to be when it comes to who you are in the marketplace. It may seem like counterintuitive, but in actuality, there are 7 billion people in the world. 7 billion people plus with 7 billion plus problems. If you can be clear and solve one of those problems and focus on attracting I forgot who, the 1,000 fans.
Yeah, the 1,000 true fans. Yeah.
Get clear about just attracting 1,000 true fans. You may be great with just attracting those 100 true fans. They will be your brand ambassadors and share your message across the world. So really get clear, get focused, and niche down, and be okay with being you. And kind of ignore people who say, oh, everyone's doing the same thing.
Right. I agree. You kind of have to put the blinders on and align with what works for you and what feels good to you. Although, there's also the case for, do you guys hear an echo, or is it just me? Because it's really annoying, but I can live with it if it's just me.
I think we're okay.
There's also the case of resistance, right? People who are resistant to owning what they do well. So you have to be really conscious about making the differentiation. Am I resistant to showing up and owning what I'm good at? Or is it something else? Or is this a marketing issue? You kind of got to figure out where you're landing in there. And I'm sure you've come across that too.
Oh, absolutely. I am like the poster child for things like this. The key is you have to work on your mindset every day. You have to work on understanding who you are and being okay with it and operating at your highest level of capacity. And it's not easy. It's something that, just like when you take a shower, you have to eat every day. You have to replenish yourself. You have to replenish your mindset and how you feel about everything that you do every single day, because you are absolutely amazing. You're an expert and people want what you have to offer. So it's up to us to put it out there. So that's why, having conversations about mindset, working with Agnes is so important, because it comes every single level and it comes up and you're like, oh, I've had this conversation recently with someone literally yesterday with a life coach. And we're talking about, and she talks about some mindset stuff too. And I said, there's levels and there's barriers. Every level you get to, every time you accomplish a new goal, there's levels. As a doctoral student, there's about 1 to 2% of the population that actually have PhDs or these kind of higher level degrees. So there's always this feeling like an imposter, like I'm not good enough to participate and be in that 1 to 2% of the population. And feeling like, okay, even though I passed my exam, I'm a doctoral candidate, I literally have, some research to do, and I'm almost across that hurdle, there's still all these barriers to say, maybe you can't do it. No one else around you has done it. So you have to surround yourself with people who elevate you and see the future you, and they ignore that little me. That's what we call it, the little me, that the little hater inside of all of us.
Yeah.
We have to kind of diffuse that person and ignore them and really find people, books, affirmations, regiments that are conducive to you having that higher level mindset. Because one of the things
let me interrupt you for just 1 sec. How do you stay consistent with your marketing, and how do you teach to stay consistent with marketing and branding when you don't feel like it, when you don't feel good, when you're confused about who you are and what you're offering? How do you stay consistent to that regimen?
Consistency comes with clarity and also automation. So sometimes there's some great content and consistency hacks. There are always going to be things that are going to happen every single year. There are holidays, your birthdays, special anniversaries. So even if you can't think of like, okay, I don't know what's going on, there's still things that you can implement and keep a level of consistency, because they're always going to happen. It's always going to be Monday, and people are always going to say, I don't want to go to work on Mondays. You can always think of some way to kind of like talk about that topic.
Take a spin off of that.
Put a spin on it. There's going to be things that always will come up in a year or a season that you can always talk about, even if you're in the middle of a transition and you're not sure where you're going to go next.
And chances are you end up doing what you do really well, regardless of how you feel. Because and all the people that I have worked with, it's like a very common thing that they feel like crap, but they can show up for a client, no problem, solve their issues, make it happen, and just go about their business, and then go back to whatever's going on for them. So it's an interesting practice of like, if you're going to do mindset work, show up consistently in your marketing and branding too. I love the way that you take spins off of like what's going on, like Coachella's going on. We're going to talk about Beyonce and take tips from that. I mean, just grab a newspaper, go on TMZ. What's happening? Go see what's happening. What are people trending and talking about that you have a spin on that is funny or interesting or disruptive?
If you are not having inspiration, go outside. Yeah. Especially depending on what your business model is. Sometimes we don't get enough sun. Go outside. Walk to the store. And listen to the birds chirp. Do something that you don't normally do. Read a book. I love my Rolodex on Audible. Do something different. Go and do a staycation at a hotel.
Yeah, change it up.
Change up your mindset and your atmosphere so that you can be more creative. And also, talk to people, because it is very frustrating when you're like, I don't know what I should do next. But it requires you to get around some new people. Even with Beyonce in particular, she recently, maybe it was a year ago, she fired her whole team. She said, I need a fresh team. I need some new ideas. I want to do something different. So sometimes that's what it requires. It requires you to do a shakeup in your life and in your business in order for you to get to the next level.
Well, I want to take a page out of her business book any day. Thanks so much. and also she's holding herself to a really high standard of excellence by doing stuff like that. Like, this isn't working. Like, I need to hold myself to a high standard for my clients, but also for me, for my own creativity, and so that I don't get bored and just full of hate for my own business.
There's so many people, especially if you're talking to high achievers, the people who have been admired, accoladed, praised for being themselves. And a lot of times, those are the same people who we know are not operating at their fullest potential. But it's because they operate at such a high level of capacity that their 50%, 65% looks like everyone else is 125%.
Because they're just being authentic.
Because they're just being themselves. And I'm
like
pretty sure Beyonce probably said, I did a great job, but there's other things I could improve. Man, this beat was off by a second. She probably found other ways to say that this was not what it needed to be and look for areas of improvement. And I'm pretty sure there are other levels that she's like, I haven't reached yet. And even though other people are seeing she's at the highest, at the pinnacle of her career, I saw that in a New York Times article. And she's like, there's still more for me to do. So that frustration, what is it? Maslow's hierarchy of need, that self-actualization is so frustrating. You get to the level and then you have to go to the next level. But that's what makes us human. And that's what really makes us great. When when your basic needs are met at the bottom of that Maslow's hierarchy pyramid, and you're going to the top to that self-actualization. It's very frustrating, but it's rewarding when you're attempting to live out your best life.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that comparison. Roberta's saying she's here, but the video isn't playing. Is everyone else seeing us? Whoever's watching, let us know in the comments if you can see us. So capitalizing on your genius and then being really like masterful about what's next for you and looking at how you can be a better, whatever it is that you are, a healer, business coach, director, actor, whatever it might be. What about traffic? Hey, Laura, how do people tackle the problem of traffic from your perspective? Because often they'll be like, I just need more people. I just need new people. And I have a mindset answer for that. But what's the perspective from the marketing and branding piece?
The key is to get clear about who these people are. You need the right people. Not everyone. I think we're getting more intentional with our marketing, or a lot more people are talking about it. It's not about even bigger businesses and brands. They're not looking at influencers who have thousands and thousands of followers. They're looking for the people who have the right followers, the right audience, the engaged people. Because you can have an email list of 10,000 people and have nobody buy. But there could be someone else who has a list of 1,000 people who are extremely engaged and excited about what they offer. And then they have a, 6-figure, 7-figure business with 1,000 people on their list. So we have to shift from a season of just looking at the numbers, the vanity metrics, and looking at the level of engagement. So that's why a lot of people are looking at micro influencers, people who they may have smaller audiences, but their audiences are engaged. They pay attention. They share out posts. They're interacting, and not only interacting, they're engaging when there is a sales opportunity to buy. They're buying. So this is important to start thinking about. So getting clear, niching down, and focusing on where your audience is. So that's what it really is. Where are they? How can I get more of those people? How can I duplicate the people that already come to me?
And I think a distinction here too is you need to recognize when you're kind of done with a particular kind of audience. That's an indication for you that you need to grow. Because if you're attracting people, and I hear this a lot, like they don't have money, they don't want to buy, or like they only want to spend a certain amount, you're kind of done with a certain vibration, and you need to grow. You need to expand to be able to attract something different. What's your take on the wrong audience in that sense?
Woo! It is true. And you have to be okay with letting people go. It is hard. You're like, but they've been there. I want to help them. Because we have this natural, intrinsic view of wanting to help and support and serve people. But the reality is we can be better servants if we have more when we're operating in overflow and abundance. When we're operating in lack, we cannot do the things that we are designed to do. So if I want to help other people, it is part of my job and my duty to be a successful entrepreneur and actually make money. Because if I don't, I cannot accomplish my goal and my mission to the capacity that I desire to do and that I know I was born to do. So it requires you. So even for me in this season, we are shifting of who I'm working with and who I desire to work with in this next season, because I want to work with people who are serious and established influencers. You're ready for the next level. You tested your ideas, you've proven them, you've had some trial and error, but you're ready for your next level. The vibration is different, the energy is different, the level of excitement that they have, the level that they're willing to invest is different. And that's the kind of energy that I want to be around and support.
And so that requires you to make a leap.
It requires you to make that first leap, which is scary. And then once you make that leap, your audience will begin to show up. That's what happens. And I've had this conversation with someone maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and I said, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she said, I don't want to do it. I said, I don't care. You got to do it. And now it's happening. And now she's seeing the quantum leap happen. And I said, I know you didn't want to do it a couple of months ago. And now she's saying, okay, Sade, you were right. This was the right transition for me to make at this time. And now she's showing up differently in her marketing. And the quality of clients that are coming are like, okay, where do I pay? Can I pay tonight? They start to show up. So when you start to show up boldly and powerfully, the people around you start to show up. That's why you see, the most confident, sales is about confidence too. And you see the people who are exuding, like they're just sweating confidence online. They tend to attract similar people who want to have those, they want to just touch some of the sweat because they want it to drip off on them too. So when you start exuding that, when you start showing up powerfully, because you know your stuff, you're good, the other people start to show up for you. And the ones that are not ready for you, they start to disappear and go away because they understand that they're not ready for you. And that's okay. It's a part of a brand people don't get. Brands, the goal of a brand, a great brand, is for people to be attracted and also to reflect and detract. They're supposed to repel. So if your elevation is, if people are saying, oh, I don't want that and I don't like that person, great, we're doing a good job. When people opt out of your email list, we're doing a great job. Your job is to focus on the people who you want to attract and who you want to be in your tribe. Because it takes your energy, especially if you're working with groups and one-on-one clients. You want the right people in your ecosystem.
Yes, I love this so much. The goal of a good brand is to do both, is to both attract and repel. And that's a really important thing to remember when you're thinking about your marketing. That probably your first instinct is what you should go with, even if you're like, ooh, that might piss somebody off, or that's not everybody's gonna like that. You want to go for that. And I like the idea of thinking of yourself as a brand in general, because I don't think enough entrepreneurs have that vision of themselves. Because even if it's a brand that has 100 people, followers, sorry, a lot of curry. You're still a brand. You still can take the time to think about, what do I want my company? And that's about taking yourself seriously and taking your business seriously. What do I want my company to represent? What are my values? What are things that I like? What are things I don't like? What are things I do and things I don't do? Just kind of like the niching down. But it's about being a little bit more thoughtful about what you're putting out there. And it's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of cool to think of yourself as the next Apple or Coca-Cola of your industry. It creates a bit of a separation between the personal you and like your business, which I think is kind of cool and important. It allows you to be the CEO rather than, inseparable from it. Like, I kind of like the idea of that, that yes, you are your brand and you're authentic to your brand, but I like thinking of it as not just a business, but also a brand. There's something tangible about that you get to be unique in, right? You get to be unique. You get to choose your colors. You get to choose the kind of wording that you use. You get to choose the kind of people you want to hang out with in your audience. You get to pick, and I think that is empowering.
Absolutely. And you get to be yourself. One of the CEO of T-Mobile, he loves live video. So I just recently watched one where he was doing a cooking show. He was cooking and he had all the ingredients out. And this is the CEO of a mega brand, a mega, telecom brand. And he's doing a cooking show. So people want to see, now we're living in this digital age. People want to see a little bit more of their CEOs and the people who run these companies. They want to know that you have feelings too, and that you're just not hiding behind a business logo. They want to know more about you so that they can resonate with your stories and really connect. So that's really so important. And look at some of what these brands are doing, what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, because that's important too. And there's a lot of lessons that we can learn about the mindset of successful branding.
Oh my God, how is it already 2:00? Quickly, simple strategies. Well, I have you for another minute or so. Simple strategies for marketing and branding. What are some of your favorite simple strategies?
The overarching strategy, it may sound cliche, is just to be yourself. At the end of the day, you have to look at the woman or the man in the mirror and be happy with that person. So be yourself. And
be yourself. And do the work of knowing yourself so that you know what you're presenting, right? Like being yourself is also just knowing who you are, because business takes us through so many evolutions that we're also changing all the time. So you also have to be in touch with that, with knowing yourself, with knowing I like to, because not everybody's going to be the person who has 40,000 people in their group. One, it's not going to serve your energy or align with your energy. It might be overwhelming or like just not bring you satisfaction. You might be the boutique type of person that just wants to work with a few people at a time. So knowing yourself is part of that being yourself in the branding piece. So just to recap what we've learned from almost Dr. Sade, 12 to 18 months, think about what the big brands are doing. Think about that. What are the big brands doing in like the Cokes, the Apples, or the ones that you admire, not just the ones that you like or don't, but also the ones that you don't like? What are they doing? Be curious about that, and be curious about the branding part of business, not just the business part of business, because I think it's a huge element that people often miss. I miss that a lot. I don't often think of my business as branding, but I think it's important to do that. Niching down. So watch the big brands, disrupt the marketplace, niche down. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. I'm trying to cram it all in the time that I have with you. And being intentional, not looking at the vanity metrics, but being intentional about your audience. Does that about sum it up?
Absolutely.
Any last thoughts about the mindset of successful branding?
The last piece of that, they know who they are, they know who they serve, and they know their products well. They know those things, those last three things that's what they know. And that's what they keep it simple. Who are you? Who do you serve? And what do you offer them?
Beautiful. Beautiful and simple. Sade, tell us how people can connect with you, work with you, be involved with you.
Awesome. So you can stay connected with me on the internets at all things Future Dr. Shade. It's spelled like shade, but it's Sade. Future Dr. Sade, because like we said, 12 to 18 months. You can connect with me. I have a Facebook group. You can go to breakfastbranding.com, and you can also find me at shadewhyadu.com, shadewhyadu.com or shadewhyadu.com, or just find me on any social media platform and let's have a conversation about how we can support each other and learn more about your business and your brand.
Amazing. And she has an event coming up.
Yes.
In July.
In June. The VIP day begins June 21st, but the main event is June 22nd through the 23rd. It is in Newark, New Jersey. It's called the Boldly Empowering Entrepreneurs Conference, or the BCon. And we're going to have a great time. We have phenomenal speakers coming from across the country to talk about how you build your brand, your marketing, and your sales engine, in addition to other business building things like protecting your brand. Once you start to build, you want to make sure that you're protecting your brand assets so no one else can take them from you. So we have some phenomenal speakers and trainers that are going to be coming in to support you with that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry it was a little bit rushed as I was trying to, and I apologize for interrupting, guys, Sade's amazing thoughts as I was trying to get in as much as we could in the time that we had. But you can connect with her on all the social media platforms. She's hanging out with Gary Vee. She's hanging out with people you want to hang out with. And has so much to offer. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for joining us today.
Bye-bye.